my raps and my songwriting and just writing abilities, period, could be used as curriculum, right?
You might think, well, if I just don't, well, then no one's just going to associate me with anything. Wrong. People
Yeah.
will associate you with something that now you didn't choose.
I don't know how to make
I don't
cupcakes,
even know-
guys. I have no idea.
It's true. I tasted it.
So you're an artist, and you are looking to build a world and an infrastructure around what you do and what you create. How do you get started? What does it mean to create that infrastructure? And who are some people that you can look to kind of set that example? That's what we're here talking about today. This is Arts and Offers. My name is Matthias.
I'm Jeff.
And today we are here with a special guest. Okay, so we've had special guests here.
And less special guests.
And less special guests. Some medium special guests on this show as well.
But this is really high.
This is really high.
This is next tier. That's tier.
Kind of criteria. A lot of times we talk about artists that are kind of creating a way for themselves, and we're asking, who in the community do we really see kind of pushing their own brand? And when I think of somebody who not only has an understanding of their brand, but also has an understanding of how to kind of extend their brand out into their community, kind of create a community around their work. There's not many artists that kind of exemplify that more than rapper, organizer, educator, merchandise designer, all around artist and curator, Ebri Yahloe.
Yeah.
We have to.
We don't imagine the buttons here.
Thanks, man.
What is good?
I'm so honored. First of all, thank you both. This is my first pod. Yeah, so cheers to that. This is my first podcast. Aww. Yeah, so I'm amazing. I'm so happy to be here, and yeah, man, ready to get into it.
I'm gonna make some sound effects, by the way. Press the awe button. It's just gonna be us saying "aw." Press the applause button. It's just us saying "press the applause button."
Clap, 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 clap. All right, yeah. No, I'm doing great. Like you said, a lot of world building, and a bunch of expansion in ways that I didn't know would exist for me. So that's what I'm on, and that's what I've been doing. So yeah.
I'm so glad you said world. I was listening to this podcast today, and they were talking about how all of us exists in worlds, in our own worlds, which means all of us are characters in our own worlds. So
I'm the villain.
once you start,
In mine.
Love a villain.
it's you can imagine if you were to map out your life as a show.
Yeah.
It's okay, what's your setting?
Yeah.
Who are the characters in your life? What are their dynamics and things like that, and and then incorporating the art into that too, because I think once you start viewing yourself that way, it kind of opens up, and you be like, oh, well, I could also do this. What happens if this character goes into this space? Or what happens if other things?
Yes.
I think about that, because I think a lot of times as artists, people can be really passive with kind of their art life and what happens with their art. And the passivity doesn't come from necessarily not caring. It comes from a fear of what happens if they care about something and it doesn't work the way that they want it to. You know what I mean? So they're much more comfortable with being I want to put this song out. I want to put this poem out. I want to put this book out. And if it doesn't do what I wanted it to do, then I haven't put the kind of energy and time into it for it to damage me as an artist or to damage me as a person. But also it's if you don't, okay, I'm going to use an anime analogy. Every time Goku does the Kamehameha, I don't know if people are out there if Goku was watching, but every time he does the Kamehameha, he's putting all of his energy into it. And it doesn't always beat the enemy, but every time it does, it's because he's putting all of his energy into it. So it's for us as artists, understandable. Not every single venture is going to be the thing that gets us $1,000, $10,000. It's not going to be every single thing that kind of pushes the needle in that regard. But if you do want to push the needle, you have to be pushing every single time.
Or I think about like throwing darts. Like, why would you just play darts to throw one dart?
Ooh,
you know, like,
yeah.
don't you want like as many as you can have to like try to hit the mark? Like,
yeah.
So maybe as we start this like talk on just creating infrastructure around art, maybe we could lead off with an example of something that you feel like you're doing, Ebri, with different avenues that you've approached.
Yeah. So like, this about 2 summers ago, I had this idea of creating it wasn't an original idea. I seen during the shutdowns, I seen our dear friend and beloved Caroline Bennett doing the curbside concerts, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang, that's cool. And they had like this flatbed truck, and she would pull up the people like older people's curb, and she would do the concerts. And I seen that it was like funded, and I'm like, I love that. That is amazing, right? So it just lived in my brain. But further down the line, I'm like, man, and that was like shut down, right? So about 2 years ago, I'm like, a open mic, but a pop-up open mic would be cool. Like just to pop up in different places. And I'm like, okay. And a friend helped me pilot it, and it is called Pop-Up Speak Up. And 2 successful summers, and we just landed funding for this next summer coming up. But it's like you pop up and speak up in different places, like, and it's open to all people, right? Like children, adults. We've had partnerships with Columbus Metropolitan Library, and then like put the guns down, like stop gun violence in North Linden, and we did things with Children's Hospital. So like creating a space to where I can go and share, right? Not verses, but in addition to like going to do my own shows, where this is like an Ebri Yahloe show, this is a space that I can bring out instruments, and the students or the kids that come, they can use it like a petting zoo. They could use it like if they don't have the instruments at home, but they know they're good at it, or they only get to play it at school. Now they can play it on this random Wednesday night, right? And so people come out, they do poetry. People come out, they sing songs. Some people come out and they're like, well, I'm not even a good or great singer. Like, girl, sing your song. Give me the other mic. We gonna do a karaoke style, right? And sometimes it is karaoke style. So creating that is something that that was an idea, and we figured out the infrastructure, and we've had 2 successful summers with that, to go and share and bring something that brings me joy to other people, like music being like this universal language. Like a kid that never played the drums before, like, I want to play the drums, I know how to play that. Like, you sure do, buddy. Get on it and just beat the drums, you know what I'm saying? So it's a really cool thing. So that is something that I've created and seen become very successful.
Yeah. I think about, and this is, and shout out to Caroline Bennett, by the way, really dope artist, really dope singer, speaker, poet, all them things. I think about, what we talk about sometimes where it comes to like, figure out what about your platform is a service to other people. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because that a lot of times artists, we're really insular. Well, we can be really insular. So we're like, people, you see it all the time. People get frustrated with, people aren't supporting my music. Mm-hmm. People aren't coming to my show. People aren't listening to they're not doing all these things for me.
What are you doing for them?
Like, what is the thing that you're doing for them? Like, what is the thing that, just like, again, with your shows, like you're doing, like, so what are you doing that, a kid that's like, I'm really interested in instruments. You're not saying, well, if you're really interested in instruments, then listen to my song. Like, no, like you're saying, like, come play an instrument, come do. And I think that like it attaches people to you because now you're a service. Now you're doing something for them that really helps them and heals them in a lot of ways. But also it's attached to Ebri as a brand, and like now they associate with like you with kind of this amazing time that they had during these like kind of pop-up open mics. So yeah, like it's just like that's a really great like kind of almost intuitive thing that you do. Like you're just like, I know that in order to like and it's not even necessarily to extend your brand, it's just because of the kind of person that you are.
Yeah.
It's like I want to share these things, but it's like it creates a community around you.
And also with it gives me a space to also practice, right? So sometimes when we're out there setting up, because it's all live instruments, but we also do karaoke style, like we have a PA system, and I can see people like, I want to go. Sometimes they ask like, are you guys a band? Like you guys, you know? I'm like, nah. This is more open mic, and so I'll open it up with my raps, but it's not like a hey, look at me. It's more like a this is what we're doing here, and I also get the repetition, and I can still practice, and I can still do my thing, and they're like, oh, it brings it full circle, like you said, like artists also rap, and somebody's like, oh well, I know how to rap, like I seen you up there rapping, I know how to rap, like well yeah, come on, let's come up here and rap, let's play the drums, let's play this key, so yeah, it serves two purposes, to share, and also for me to never stop practicing and just being a student in that way. Just practice, you know. So, yeah.
And I know a lot of the stuff that happens with, even with like Diversus, kind of putting those two things together as well. It's like there's like workshops that happen here. There's like we talk about like, you know, how to kind of create a brand and stuff like that around your book. So it's like a lot of the stuff that, you know, we as artists are already involved in, bringing people into our process so that we're not alone in our process, right? So like it's not just me creating. It's like, oh, like I'm not here necessarily, like I can teach a class on maybe this specific aspect of filmmaking or, you know, writing or rapping or being a poet, but what is really edifying to a lot of people is like, we're all in this process together. So like, let's talk about how we can do this, and what is your input, and what are your ideas, and kind of again, that's kind of like the antithesis of, or the not the antithesis of. That is community. The thesis. That is the thesis. That is the community that you're creating.
And in that we find the similarities. We find like, oh, you do these things too. Oh, you do these practices. Oh, you do morning pages. Or, oh, you may have struggled with this imposter syndrome as well. Like, damn, you? Like, well, you? Like, Matt, you? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, I think bringing people into your world, like you said, it's helpful. And it helps us collaborate together, but it also helps us just find those similarities beyond the work that we're doing. Yeah. Right? Like on a real human to human, like conversations that we've had and conversations that I've had with people, it's like, yeah, this thing that we're creating together, this is beautiful and it's going to be amazing, but this human experience that we're having right now is far greater than what we are trying to create. Well, I won't say far greater, but it's a big component of it. Yeah. And I think it's the thing that keeps on giving, right? Because we can collaborate on a song, or like I can say, hey, Jeff, I need a poem at the end of this song, and we do that. But like and that's done, right? And it can live forever. Mm-hmm. But if we sit down and have a real human experience, that is the thing that we'll always find our way back to. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's the thing that we'll keep pulling from, and the cup that runneth over is that experience, like person to person. So, you know, and that's what my world building is about, right? And all the things that I'm creating, that is the intersection of all of it. Yeah. So yeah.
Can we go deeper into that? So let's say, think about the world building, think about the structure, and the infrastructure. So let's say that you have an idea for a song. Right. Walk me through all the avenues that then springs forth from that.
Ooh, okay. This is fun. So sometimes early on, it would just be me and a beat, right? whether it was pieces I'm picking for a beat or creating a beat, or just me and a producer that I really like, and it's just one-on-one and we're there, right? I am very open to constructive criticism and just input, because it's a collaboration. I like to think of it as like cooking. You bring the stuff that you're great at. I'm going to bring, or you bring your ingredients, I bring my ingredients.
And then we throw them together.
And we put them together and we make something.
It
is risky. It is risky.
The oven on 450.
Put the oven on 500 and just wait and see. You know what I mean?
Sardines were a choice.
Yes, the sardines were a choice. But that's the human experience, because then you're on a podcast and you're like, man, we was cooking. Matt brought cake mix. Jeff brought mustard. I brought tofu. But it was really fun when we did it.
It didn't taste good.
Or actually, it did taste good, and we're never going to be able to recreate that again. We could never recreate that again, right? So, so it's usually just myself. In the past, it was myself and just a producer, right? In recent times, I created these 3 songs, right? One is Love You More. The other is called Away. That'll be out soon. And the other one is called Waste Your Time. Y'all, this was the most collaborative pieces of music that I've ever done in my life, right? So I met a producer, and he was excited about what I have going on, but he hadn't done anything with hip hop. And I'm like, this is interesting, because sometimes that is my experience, and I'm like, okay.
We'll see where this goes. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. My own different thoughts about it, but I'm also always open to seeing what could be. Right? I'm not cutting myself off to possibilities, right? Even if sometimes I have my own thoughts about it, and sometimes my thoughts are right. Sometimes my thoughts are wrong. Like, oh, this was nothing like what I thought was happening here. Okay, cool. So, me, the producer, and we have these songs already that are already written, that are already to beats. And I'm like, I don't know this guy. I already have and love these songs that I have to the beats. So if what we have don't work out, cool, it was fun. I'm just going to put out what I already like with these beats, right? Mm-hmm. But it turned out beautiful. And there's sax. There's 2 different type of sax on there. There's bass. There's a whirly. There's organ. There's multiple singers. Like, there's like a choir, not a choir effect, but just like the fact that we've had so many people singing on there. People that I never thought I would work with, like in my mind, but who I look up to in the city. Like Amber from Mojo Flow was singing on one of them, and I'm like, this is cool. Like, what? Jeff Kayempa, who was a bass player, he has a Grammy, and I'm like, you like Monster? You want to play on mine? You know what I'm saying? So it was like very collaborative, but with that, there's a lot of opinions and a lot of voices, and it's like, okay, this is new versus when it's just myself and a beat, or just myself and one other producer. So openness and super collaborative the process of that just being new and just to be open, if that answers the question.
Yeah. I feel like, and in working with you, I feel like one of the things that I'm always one of the things I'm always excited about in working with you is I think that it does kind of feel like we'll both come together and we'll be like, okay, like this is just like this idea, which is typically like the song. Like this is just like the idea is the song. And then what is able to happen because of the fact that there's a mutual level of like excitement and energy towards like kind of creating. And I know that, when making the song, much like, when making anything else, it's like, I'm sure in those rooms, it's like there's probably somebody there that's like, okay, but I really want it to sound like this.
Mm-hmm.
And what is your process when it comes to maybe shifting your focus from, okay, this is what I intended, but like there's things that can change about it that might not even be a bad or good thing. It's just a matter of like differences. Like, what is your process when it comes to like kind of almost onboarding some of those changes?
Openness, trust, and the idea of not being married to an idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I was just thinking about this on my way here. There's probably almost nothing I love more than a side quest. Oh, yeah. I love a good side quest. Love a side quest. I love to be in a thing, and I chuckle to myself like, I'm here doing some pottery. Like, this is cool. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes in creating, the thing is a side quest, and it's like to bring in saxophone. Like, that's an interesting side quest. Let's try it. And the thing with like recording music, you can always delete it. You can delete it. You know what I'm saying? You can erase the thing if you don't love it. If we try it and we're like, yeah, that wasn't it, and it's like, okay, cool. Like, let's try it like this. But I'm always open to trying the thing.
Yeah.
Let's try it. Let's try it on. Not rigid in a lot of ways, yes. But in creating, no. It's like, because I like other people's like POV. Sometimes you can, not sometimes, but everybody can see a thing in a different way than I can see it. And so when somebody shows me the way they seen it or the way they heard it, and I didn't hear it like that, I'm like, ooh, now I'm interested in your brain. Like, okay, so what else is happening in it? Like, tell me more.
Yeah.
So that is, I don't think it's necessarily a shift from this to that. It's always an open space. It's always an open space from, it's all a skeleton for real. And that's why I like a good side quest, because like life is a skeleton. It's like, all right, well, what else can we add to this? What else can we put on this? Yep. So not really a shift, just openness to change. That's the only thing that's really, in my mind, that's the only thing that's really permanent is change. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
When it comes to, and this is like also something that I think a lot of other artists can like learn from as well when it comes to like collaborators, because a lot of times we are excited to collaborate with somebody without thinking of like, is this a good fit for my vision, for my brand, for all kinds of like, and it could be for any number of reasons. Like, some of it is like stylistically, like sometimes like, we talk about like, you could be a poet and maybe your entire poetry brand is you're writing like almost like poems for children, almost like and which is incredibly profitable lane, by the way. And so like that can be your entire brand. So you maybe don't team up with somebody who writes like erotic poems,
right?
Not because this person's poetry is bad or anything like that. It's just because your brand right now, because you have such a strong headway in this direction, it muddies the water if you're like upfront and like working with this kind of brand. And so for you, when you're thinking about collaborations and you're thinking about things that are going to be connected to your brand, kind of what are the things that you look for, and maybe like more importantly, what are the things that you're like, I try to ward against?
Okay, so the things I look for, they are the things I like, right? So I love plants, I love food, I love vegan food specifically, I love the youth, I love music, I love live music, I love just art in general as a whole, right? Yeah. The arts, just even if it's not my art form, like It doesn't have to be hip hop. It doesn't have to be. I went to the candlelight concerts and I was like, oh, this is fire. This is cool. So I look for similarities and the things I stay away from. The things I stay away from are like things that if it's something I'm morally not with, it's a complete no out the gate. And it doesn't even matter if it's we've done this work. If I find out later that this is something more like I didn't vet or some just things I didn't know, it's a complete no for me. It's like, nah, we can stop everything right here immediately, right? And so just things that are morally aligned with me, things that fit what I have going on, things that don't completely conflict with the things I work with, like children, like truth, like integrity, things that don't align with me, I'm not doing it. 100% no. Immediately no. So
and that's like, it's a hard thing too, because I think that there's some really big opportunities that can look, you could sell yourself on, like that's typically what happens. Like you sell yourself on, oh, this is too big of a thing to pass up or to like kind of turn down, and so you're like, I'm gonna lean in that direction, and it can go, we talked a little bit about like this, like onboarding or accepting projects that are like, okay, like is this going to take more time, energy, resources out of me than it's worth? Like it can be something like that too. So just this idea that there are things that you have to say no to. Because whatever you're saying no to, it's like you're spending something. You know what I mean? Like so I could say this thing maybe on its face it nets me $5,000, but like what does it cost me? And if it costs you, if it destroys your brand and you have to I have to build from scratch because this thing was completely contrary to my brand and it took all the time and resources out of my brand, then it's not worth it, because I've been building this thing up and this is also like the thing that's going to feed me later on down the line. So just having that foresight to be able to say like, okay, this is something that I can say yes to, and this is something that I have to say no to.
And for any artist watching, no is a complete sentence. No is no. You don't have to explain it. No is no. And also, sometimes things do look really good, and they like, oh man, this is good. But like, if I can't look at myself, like if I feel, if I can't like sit with myself after it, it's like, nah. Because I have to sit with that. And this looks good on paper or it looks good online. Like, wow, Ebri did this collaboration with this, but like I know that this was not, or this organism or whatever. This is not. This doesn't. And I have a like deep conscious feelings about certain things. Certain things. Certain other things, I'm like, no.
I have no conscience about it.
Absolutely none. But like, there are certain things that I'm like, oh, never. You know what I mean? So, A
few years ago, Ajane, actually shout out to AJ and a few years ago, so this is back in our old apartment, I think, like, she went like really viral because like I took this. She had this like clay hair thing going on. Like I don't know what. Like she had this like thing in it, and like I took this picture of her and I sent it to her like, you want to be Rosa Parks so bad, and like she like posted it as a joke on Twitter, and it was like, it's still to this day the most viral thing either of us has ever done in our entire life. Like it went really wild for like, and I still to this day I'm like, I don't understand like why it went that crazy, but it went crazy. And I remember in that window of time being like, oh, we could like capitalize on this. Like really, and I really felt passionate about it at the time. I was just like, oh, like there's so much stuff you could do. Like you could do whatever. Like there's a lot of momentum behind it. And I've seen people capitalize with less. You know what I mean?
Right.
But in that time, one of the things that Ajane said that I think I'm reminded of even now in like this era of our this era of our creativity is just like she was just like, whatever I did to capitalize with this is not something that I could sustain because I'm not that person. You know what I mean? Like I'm
not Rosa.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's like, as a creator, as somebody who's like making things, it's like, you know, I remember, even like we're talking about like there was like this really weird era in, not weird, but it was like the era in Columbus where it was like I wrote this pro cupcakes, anti brownies poem, like essentially, like, and like branching off of that, it just got like other poets started writing pro brownie poems, and then we had like multiple poetry slams where it was like brownies versus cupcakes. And I remembered, like, even in that time, I was just like, I only really ever intended to just write the one poem, and then and it kind of snowballed from there.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, if there was a point where I'm like, if I keep going with this,
I'll be cupcake guy.
I'll be the cupcake guy. And I'm like, can I be the cupcake guy? I'm like, no, I actually can't. Like, I have, I don't want to say zero interest, but it's like, that's like something that's fun that I'm like, I could pretty much do that anytime, and then, but I don't want, like, that's not the thrust of my work. That's not what I want to do for any extended amount of time. And so, yeah, a lot of the stuff when we're talking about like your brand and when we're talking about like what you're building, it's like almost resisting the urge to lean into something that could be successful but out of brand. You know what I mean? Like it could be big. Like you 100%. Could do something with this, but it's like, could you be the one to sustain it? And if you are the one to sustain it, what of all the rest of the things that you're doing has to kind of take it down a peg? Like, could you still do it and still put this album out? Could you still do it and do this performance?
And what about when you get bored with it? Right, and that goes into the sustainability, you know what I'm saying? But like as artists, as creatives, like I think the fun part about it is like constantly creating other things, but finding new ways to create an old thing, or like finding new ways, like you said to me earlier, finding new ways to put out this thing. Yeah. Right? And so like the cupcake guy. But like you don't even really like cupcakes. You know what I'm saying? The actual poem was about not liking cupcakes. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
like
about
or
not
like
liking brownies.
not liking brownies. You know what I'm saying? But it's like now you're the.
I'm not like so passionate about it that I'm like, no, I really need this crusade. It has to.
Right, and now you have a brick and mortar cupcake.
I don't know how to make cupcakes, guys. I have no idea.
It's true. I tasted it.
Cupcakes. He actually bought brownie mix. He brought the sardines, and I brought the tofu and or the mustard. And it's like that was the cupcakes, and now everybody thinks it's a joke. You know what I'm saying? So
at the same time, so I think this is talking about trying to find something that's sustainable, but but there is also importance in understanding that people associate you with something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so at some point we kind of, in my opinion, if we're trying to not be invisible, we do have to stick a flag in something. Yeah, and it doesn't mean we have to stay there forever, but you want to make sure it's in the right thing, but you also want to make sure it's in a thing. Because if you don't, you might think, well, if I just don't, well, then no one's just going to associate me with anything. Wrong. People will associate you with something that now you didn't choose.
Yeah.
So if it's gonna happen anyways,
you might as well choose it.
Let's pick the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's another thing. And I'll say this because it's even in my what is the primary thrust of my work, which is like filmmaking right now. It's like so much about filmmaking is about like a clear decision that you made, right? So like somewhere either in your script, in your storyboard, in your character dialogue, in your character choices, all that other stuff, it's like you've made actual clear decisions that you hope manifest themselves to the watcher, later on down the line. And that's kind of the things, when it comes to your work as you're a poetry brand, right? It's like, when you are putting together a chapbook, like if you have like the foresight to be able to think about what you want your audience to perceive when you're writing your book. So like I'm trying to there's a statement that I'm trying to make with my work that because of that decision, and hopefully it's a clear decision out here. Like if I wrote a book and I send like a draft to like Jeff or like JG or Ebri or like my wife or anybody, I'm like, I should be able to communicate what is the point of the book, like what was my intention.
Right.
And if I can't do that, it's probably a byproduct of like a lack of direction in making it, and it'll probably come out like that lack of direction will probably manifest in the work itself.
No, it will. There's no probably. Yeah. It will for sure.
I want to shift gears a little bit. So, talking about kind of like infrastructure, and a lot of that's been about people related, right? It's about people we're collaborating with, what other people bring, the messiness that can come with that, but also kind of like the beautiful results as well. Besides people, though, are there other aspects to infrastructure that come to mind for you? Like, let's say like you have a song out in the world. What else comes with that? Like events, product, things like that.
Product, events. If you are in the world of like sync licensing, there are tons of things that come with that. I personally, I really like merchandise. I like clothes. I like to.
If you can go kind of slow here, like, so I make a song. I like clothes. What's the bridge?
Okay, so I make a song. I like clothes, right? Now we go to merch. How can I make some money, or how can I expand on this song, right? So do I put this cover art on the song, like were a lot of people drawn to the cover art? Was it?
I mean, do you even make cover art to begin with? Because a lot of people put in songs, they're not even doing that, right?
Yeah, and so a lot of times it's very intentional, right? So with "Love You More," which is a single, the cover art is a brown heart, and there are letters inside of the heart that says "Love You More." So I had a video release party, and we painted brown hearts, right? Because that right? Hit the all button. Hit the all button. Hit the all button. Aww, right? So we painted brown hearts, and that intersection is art. It's also the video release, and now you have a takeaway if you wanted to take away. And if you don't want to take it away, then now I have more merch not merch, but now I have things for different visuals, right? So if we take it back to the original question, I like clothes, and I have a song. Okay, well, is the hook catchy? Do we want to put the hook on the song? On the shirt, or do we want to make some crew necks that are cream with a little brown heart? You just lean into what you just showed the people and what you told the people, and now another way you can do that. What is another way I can tell you this? What is another way that I can present this to you in a way that you might like? How can I make this tangible? You can listen to a song forever, but now I love this song so much, Ebri, that yes, I want to buy a crew neck from you that has a little brown heart on it. Yes, I want to wear this. I want to be fully immersed in this. I want to be fully immersed in this "Love You More" experience. I listened to the song. I loved it. I came to the video release. I loved it. I painted a brown heart. I had fun doing that. That was an experience. Now, yes, I absolutely want to buy this crew neck or this t-shirt or this whatever the case, because I want to be fully in this experience, in this world that I've been a part of since you released the song, and I liked it.
Yeah. I want to, and I also want to like lean into kind of the experience of the music video release, because one of the things that I think is really cool, and one of the things that I think really kind of connects the work that Ebri does with the work that like Diversus does with the work that, you know, I also think that like if you're an artist that is creating out there, you should try to figure, you know, it doesn't have to be exactly what's happening here, but you should try to figure out like your own way of being able to communicate this work. Is that, you know, Ebri, you know, you're not necessarily waiting for some org or for some, you know, company or some brand to be like, okay, we're gonna host this, we're gonna do this for you, we're gonna, like, you know, you're not pitching it to somebody else so that they can kind of do this like video release party, which is like something that a lot of people would wait for. You know, a lot of people would be like, where's the venue, who's offering me this feature, who's doing this? But like you actually kind of create a space in your home that is also not which was really cool about this experience, is that like all these people were here, but there's people that like are like these like hand-picked, this like, you know, if you know type of experience. So it has this like air of exclusivity. You kind of feel like, oh man, like, you know, these people over here, like they can't get in on it. Like this is an experience that's tailored not just for this song, but for me. You know what I mean? Like I'm part of the reason why this event can be the way it is. And so not only that, but again, it's just like this. I'm not waiting for something else to kind of give me the juice and the energy to kind of like do it. It's like I can do this at this scale, and it was so well done, and I felt cool because I was just like, man, like I'm here for this like video release, but then also we're doing like these arts and crafts that are keeping me inside the world. Like I'm not leaving. I'm not doing the video release and then I'm doing something else. I'm like, this is part of it.
Yeah, that's a part of the world building. That's a part of the world building, because in my world, it is creation, right? It's creation. It's every day. It's creation, and I want to share that, and I want for people to be able to step inside of this world, and not only step inside this world, say step in here, take your shoes off, and watch me. It's like, no, take your shoe, step into this world, and create with me.
Yeah.
Right? And this is a small enough thing to where it's like, we're not in here doing still like we're not in here doing paintings of each other. Like we're literally, there's this little wooden heart, and you can paint it brown or you can paint it whatever you want to paint it. But step in here and create with me, because creating is a major part of my world.
Yeah.
Whether that is a song, whether it's the merch, like I create the merch hands-on sometimes, whether it's a beat or an experience or a writing something, I like to create. Yeah. So in this world, I want you to come here, see what we've created, but also be able to create and leave with it if you want to, or leave it here or whatever. But I want you to be able to create, because that is important. It's very important to me, like just creating as a whole. Like we create worlds, we create people, we create conversations, like creation. We create thoughts every day. So to step inside of the world and to create with me, it makes it all collaborative. Because this is our song. Once we put something out, it doesn't belong to us anymore. So why not invite some people in that I love and that I love more, right? And we create.
Yeah.
So.
And it's cool because, you know, and again, this one of the reasons why I was like really excited to be able to like have you speaking on this platform too, is just the fact that like a lot of the stuff that Diversus does is also, it's like free, right? Like the thing that's happened where it's like it's free for people to come and enjoy and kind of be a part of, and the thing that it's doing is it's ingratiating people into the brand, right? So it's like, like okay, it might not be, it might be free as far as like you're not paying to be, you know, here or anything like that, but you are getting a deeper understanding of the purpose of Diverses, and not only that, but like now you're getting lessons and instruction and tools that you're going to be able to take away from you that you're going to always associate with Diverses, with the stanza, with the work that you're doing here, and then like kind of that gets the message out deeper and deeper into the world and into the space, and then naturally kind of compounding onto that, you know, the work that, you know, gets kind of posted on YouTube, and just this thought that, you know, all these people were here and now like they're creating these memories and these keepsakes around your work, around like the stuff that you're doing, and like they're going to be able to leave from this space. And again, I myself was inspired just as an artist to be like, okay, well, like, hold on, what am I doing right now to, you know, for myself to get my work out there? Like, you know, is there a way for us to kind of build on what we're doing right now, as opposed to waiting for, oh, this person to publish us, this person to get us up? Like, no, like, do we have those tools and those elements? And then also, again, creating that community, because all those people that were there, like, and I know you've done it like multiple other times before as well, so like this idea, like all those people that were there, like, you know, I don't know what a kind of a dollar amount around like kind of the arts and crafts and stuff like that. Probably not. You're not spending like $1,000 to put this thing on, but it's like you're able to do something at like kind of a lower end budget but it's creating a really great experience, and like that's honestly like that should be the goal, especially if you're like starting out. Like if you're trying to figure out like how do I kind of move things along, like okay, if I have $100, what kind of event could I do with $100? Yes. We talk about that, you know, we talk about especially early, and even when we were just at Jeff's house, like when we're just talking about like what can you do with this amount of money? What can you do with and then just grow. And just think about like, okay, what does growth look like? And then what is the next step? And the last thing I'll say on that is another poet, Scott Woods, here in the city. I had a conversation with him, and he was just like, yeah, like whenever I'm thinking of an idea, I'm always thinking, my first thought a lot of times is like the biggest, most extravagant version of the idea. And then the thing that I do after that is, okay, what can I do that's a version of this right now? Like what is accessible? What is accessible to me right now? And what can I get off the ground next? If I had to, what could I get off the ground next week? What can I do in a month? What can I do in 6 months? And just like kind of the work that you're doing, the work that, you know, Diverses pushes as well, is like just, it's like an encapsulation of that. It's okay, we can do something right now today that'll make an impact. That's a version of this idea, and it's gonna grow. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna progress. This is the smallest this idea will be. Later on, it'll be larger. Later on, it'll grow. Even just talking about before the podcast started, we're talking about the thing that Diverses is doing right now, which is the poetry reality show, which
is a brilliant. It's more than an idea, which is a brilliant like thing that's happening. Like what?
Never. it's all in the world.
But it's also, it's like as a creator, Jeff, you could have been like, okay, I have this idea for this poetry reality show, but the idea that I have, it requires 10 poets,
a mansion,
50 people, a mansion. It requires all this other stuff, and I'm like, that could be paralyzing to a lot of art. A lot of artists are paralyzed by the enormity of their idea and an inability to scale down. Like they can't figure, they will never figure out, okay, how can I scale down to make my idea work immediately or sooner than 5 years from now. And because of that, you know, they're just, you know, you have all these artists that, I'm an artist that has 1,000 ideas but no production. I'm a creative, not a creator. And like that's just a really big thing that I admire about really the work that both of you do. It's just this idea that I have an idea and I can get a version of this idea out sooner than later.
I think a lot of that comes from my experience, just growing up. Like I watched my mom make things happen. I remember.
Shout out to moms.
Shout out to moms, right? Aww. Right? I would look in the refrigerator, and there's like
sardines.
3 things, right? 3
This
things.
episode of Arts and Authors is brought to you by sardines.
Right. There's 3 things of something, and what looks like nothing in here.
Yeah.
And I come back about an hour and a half later, and I'm like, where did we get this from? She's like, yeah, we had canned corn in there, we had green beans, we had, and so it's that idea in my mind. That looks like scaling up.
Yeah.
Right? That looks like scaling up because it's okay. Well, I have some canned this. I have this, and this. And I have 3 kids and myself to feed, right? Not me. It's Nikki, my mom. Shout out my mom. Right?
Yeah.
What can I do and how can I do it with this? And then it's like this amazing magic trick that happens. Because now there's an aroma in the air. And now that worry that was like, oh man, I'm hungry. Like, what we going? I'm looking in the cabinet. All I see is this canned corn.
Yeah.
But that's all I see. But
Yeah.
in a different cabinet, there was actually some green beans, right? Or something that my mama might have put in the freezer and it to thaw out for us to eat later, right? And so that to me is literally scaling up. Or just like you said, if I have $100, how can I do this? What can I do? I think I seen my mama make like an easy meal. Easy meal with spaghetti, right? You can feed tons of people with spaghetti. But I seen her do it one time with like some sausages, right? But not cut up the sausages, like open up the thing, take the meat out of the, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I would have never thought about doing that like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So versus like a tube of hamburger meat, the tube of hamburger meat was expensive. But if I get these links or these little fat whatever, you know what I'm saying, I can just open that, you know what I'm saying, grind that down, right? And so that to me, and that's like what I think I seen her do a whole meal with like $20, and I'm like, Mom, you are a magician. Like you're the lady, right? So I think that for any other artist watching, think of it in a way of using what you have already, but also just make it simple. Like, all right, well, if I were to make a meal with all these things that I have, what could I make that would be tasty, that would be nourishing, and that maybe could even last me a couple days? You know what I'm saying? And that's the same concept we use with creating. I'm sure there's things that you have around the crib that you create with. There's a shirt that you haven't worn in ages. You can upcycle that. You can turn that into something else. There's a song that you've been thinking about for decades. You don't just grab. There's tons of free beats. There's access to recording on our phones. You don't need no big lavish studio to do it. The thing is just to get it in motion.
Yeah.
Right? Love You More was written during the shutdown. The production came in 2023 and it came out in 2025. Yeah. Right? So the things that you have right now, you have words, you got some free beats, you have a phone.
Yeah.
You have a phone. And do it like that. Now that doesn't mean you have to put it out right then and there. But keep building on it. Keep working. What can you add to this? Like, what do you have right now that you can? How can you use what you have to get what you want or what you need? And breaking that down in the simplest form. Maybe thinking about it creatively is this too grand. So like think about it in forms of necessity, and that might be coming from a different place with that. But like when you think about it in that way, it makes it a lot more clear because you need these things. These are the things you need. And once you take creativity and you put it in that box as well, everything like just like flowers from there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's just my take on that. Yeah.
And I hope people are taking this from a point of empowerment and not discouragement too.
Oh, no.
Because I was thinking about your story about like your mom, and the thing is that the you in that story and the mom in that story each are right. Yeah. When you look at the cupboard and you're like, there's nothing in here, you're right. There's nothing in there.
If you see nothing in there.
And if the mom looks in the cupboard and sees like, oh, there's a whole meal, the mom is also right. And the thing is that
she's always right too.
It's I mean, that's why we turn to other people. There's an idea in language learning that part of the reason why you want to learn more words is because it literally allows you to see more things. If I have more names for different colors, I can literally see more colors. Like your language and your perception directly impact your physical experience. And and it's a skill that you can develop, you know. So it's the more you practice this expansion, the easier it gets.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I also think one of the things that's important is that, like, in the analogy with Ebri and like you and your mom, it's just like not only were you both right, but at one point your mom was on the other side of that paradigm. You know what I mean? And her mom, and like at one point you're on that side of that paradigm, but now you're on the other one.
As an adult, like
looking in the cabinet, now you're like,
oh,
man, like I before I would have seen not much at all. But now I see the meal, I see this, I see this, and now it's like, you try to explain to, younger creatives who are, working on, either their poems or, they don't like getting a book out or anything like that. I know we talk, when I say younger creatives, I don't mean like younger creatives and like as far as like age necessarily, but just people that are just stepping into kind of the creative space and like trying to like make things. A lot of them they just don't know what they have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it a lot of times it takes being able to be in a community, being able to lean on other people to be able to see like, oh, what I'm doing is not because I have necessarily more than you. It's because I see an opportunity where you don't see an opportunity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I see, oh, you have that? Like there's sometimes I'm like, before I got like some of the cameras that we have, it's like some of these kids are walking around with phones way better than my phone. You know what I mean? Like my nieces, all of my nieces, well, like most of my nieces, like they have like phones that are like as a phone better than my phone. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm like, if they were like, oh, I want to like make movies or something like that, but like I just don't got like there's plenty of kids like I want to make movies, but I just don't have the camera. And I'm like your phone is like a better camera than I had starting out.
Yeah.
Than a lot of people. And actually, if you take away like the past, I would say like 15 years, like your phone is probably the best starting camera than most filmmakers probably had for their first like cameras or for their first rigs. So it's just like this thought that everybody is on one end of the paradigm, and to be honest, we're all probably on that child's end of the paradigm to somebody else. Yeah, there's somebody else out there that's like, oh, like I've been working in this field for so long that you don't even know what you have. Like, you know what I mean? And so we're probably all in there somewhere. So it's like, seeking out community and seeking out people and, terms and education that pushes us, that pushes our resources is always going to, again, result in a heightened perspective, and then hopefully the work follows from that.
Yeah, it's always being a student. Okay. Always being a student, so, yeah. Okay.
Ebri, any final thoughts about this kind of stuff about creating infrastructure around art?
Yes. Final thoughts are expand, but also expand to what outside of what could be, right? So you have a song, you have merch, music video, but what else, right? Or you as an artist, you have. If I'm a rapper, what else can we do with that, right? It was in the past 4 years that I've learned that my raps and my songwriting and just writing abilities, period, could be used as curriculum, right? So when he said educator, teaching artist, I teach songwriting and visual arts and some music production to middle schoolers. At one point in time I was K through 8, but right now my main focus is middle schoolers right now. So just understanding, like, I always love to tell the students, like, if you can write a rap, you can write a book, right? You can write a play. You can write a movie. You can write letters to the people who are in charge of your communities to say, hey, this is what I want. This is what we need in this community, right? And so expanding on that and just like, what else, the gifts and talents that you have, if your gift and or talent is XYZ, then what else, right? So if you're just if you are a creative through and through, who else can you collaborate with that aligns with what you're doing to expand, right? I have a partnership. It's not even in the works. It's like a partnership with a brand called Organic Garments, right? And I mentioned loving vegan food because I'm vegan, right? So
you can eat your clothes.
I can eat the clothes even more.
Tells me regardless,
I can
but not.
paint. I was gonna do it. I already was chewing on the. You know what I'm saying? So, Organic Garments is this. I met this guy. I was actually returning the chairs from the Love You More video,
yeah.
right? And I was, some friends let me borrow the chairs. Shout out to the Dallas. So I'll put everything back, and Melissa was there, and she was like, "Oh, this is this is Josh. He's a shoe guy." And when she said shoe guy, I'm thinking like he sells shoes. I'm like, and I was right, but not right in how I was thinking. I'm like, well, I don't see no, whatever. I'm just putting the chairs back. Not my business. Whatever. Cool. I'm like, oh, hey, what's up? Melissa like, oh, Ebri's an amazing artist and blah blah. So we get to talking about this pineapple thing, right? For a long time, I lived to have a pineapple on my arm for a long time, and even currently, guys, a flag was planted in the pineapple because one time I wore my hair up. Before I had locks, I had twisties. I wore it up and down in the back, and a friend of mine was like, "No pineapple head ass," and I was like, she took a picture of it and showed me, and I was like, "That's funny, right?" Took a trip to Maui, and it was just a beautiful thing. Like, pineapples there is pineapple gold, and like, I met a tattooer. He asked me things about what I did, and it's a beautiful story, right? And so fast forward, I'm like, the guy in the Dallas, he's talking about this pineapple stuff, and I'm like, I'm the pineapple queen, self-proclaimed. Like there's a point in time where I'm pushing pineapple so much that people are sending me cats with pineapple heads on them. People are like, friends are like gifting me pineapple stuff, like, you know what I mean? So cool. So I meet the guy, and he's like, wow, I'm the pineapple guy. I'm like, really? So we start talking more, and the shoe that they create, it is this canvas, right? And so you can paint on the shoe. The canvas part is made out of pineapple tops. The bottom, the sole, everything is made out of it's called, the bottom says plant your feet, and the bottom like is made out of like all vegan material, right?
That's good branding.
And that's a
really
wonderful branding, right? And so it's called
too.
OG, like Organic Garments, because it's organic, and it's more so like partnerships with artists, right? So you paint on your shoe, and then they put it up on their site, and if someone wants to buy your design, then they buy the shoe. right? And he loved it so much that he was like, well, our conversation, what we were talking about, we so into it, he's like, look, what size shoe you wear? I tell him, he like, I think I might have something in the car for you. So he grabs some, and I'm like, this is a little tight. You know what I'm saying? We can link back up. He like, no, I want you to do something. So he like, take this size, even though it's not your size, take it, create on it, and then when I see you again, I'll give you your size. And then you can create something else. So, right, a whole shoe is like both sides. A half shoe is like on, one side or whatever. And so that is what I have in the works. And then, like I said, we just landed funding for the pop-up speak up. And then figuring out ways to make a living. So what I prayed for and what I asked for years ago was, things weren't looking the way I wanted it to look musically. So I'm like, God, I'm mad. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, well, what I really want, I heard, well, what do you want? And I'm like, okay, so what I really want is the ability to make a living off of my art and my music. That is what I want. In addition to shows and merch and all of the things that I already know how to do. What else is there, God? Like because at the time I was like a warehouse worker, and I'm like, because this ain't it. I'm finna flip in here. This is not it. Now, I will say, in doing that mindless work, raps come because you're just doing, you know what I'm saying? But like, I'm like, listen, this is what I want. And in times I didn't see it. I'm like, I'm not talking to you right now, bro, because it's not looking like how I want it to look. Fast forward to now. I'm in a position to where I get to go into schools and teach songwriting and teach music production, but also be the songwriter, right? So with the kids, we do songwriting, and we do one group song, we do one group video, and I am the artist that brings forth that song. But the kids write the lyrics, right? So I'm not writing any of the lyrics. I'm just taking the lyrics that they said and putting them all together. So now they have the representation. They see themselves in the lyrics, and they get to co-direct the video. So now they're in the video. It's on YouTube. It's on all of the places, right? So prayers answered. Now, when I prayed that prayer, what I really in my heart, I mean, God, I want to be on tour. I want to be out there. I want to be big as Pepsi. That's what I want. But what I said was to make to make money off of my art and and that's what I got. And it's been one of the most beautiful, rewarding experiences, right? So the closing, like you said, this long story long, would be to like the things that you have, yes and, right? So I can make a rap, yes and. I can write something, okay, well, what else can I do? What else can I add to this meal? Like, he got the brownies, right? He brought the sardines, right? He brought the mustard. Yeah, he brought the sardines. He brought the sardines. Yes, he did. He brought tons of sardines. And we're like, Jeff, where did you get all those sardines? He's like, I don't know. I just have them. Like, why?
Not everybody have a cover of sardines.
So when Jeff looked in the cabinet, all he seen was sardines. You know what I'm saying? And now there's deep fried sardines. There's sauteed sardines. There's sardine cakes. There's
he's
tons
the
of
sardine guy.
Like the sardine king is what we call him. So, but thinking about what it is that you have and what else you can do with it. And it's not to understand that in that what else can you do with it, it doesn't mean that you failed at the thing that you originally wanted to do. It means you added on to it. So if you are a poet, if you're a rapper, I'm going to use rapper because I know hopefully the homies is watching this. I'm speaking directly to your soul, right? It doesn't always only have to look like what you think it's supposed to look like rapping shows. Like, you rap. That means you can public speak. Yeah. That means that you can, if you're good at this means you can move a crowd. That is MC, you can move a crowd. So who's the crowd? The crowd can be, sometimes the crowd can be children. Sometimes the crowd can be adults. Sometimes the crowd can be whatever. If you make a song or have a project called Candid, very emotionally forward and very like very trauma, all of these things. But if I can say these things in this rap form, and I also know how to get out here and talk to the people, then now I can do a workshop on moving through these traumas, because that's why. And now I have the work to prove it. Here is the body of work to say, hey, this is I survived these things, right? Yeah. And with that, did a collaboration with Catch Court, right? Catch Court is with the Franklin County Municipal Courts, and it's women who've been brought up on sex crimes and like who have been sex trafficked and all of these things, right? So with Candid, a specific song called Holy, I'm like, hey, this is what I have and this is what I can do. And a lot of them like, hell, this is my story too. So I got to create and write a song just like I write with the kids, create a song with that, their lyrics, and create a video with that. So like, what else? And like Matt began, like, who can you serve? What else can you do? How can you expand? And like, how can you build on it? Right? It's the holidays, so kind of like if you put up your Christmas tree, like what else can we put on this so it doesn't look so un-Christmassy? Like what other ornaments can you put on your thing? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Since the brownies and the cupcakes that we may have sardines in them, maybe we'll use a different analogy. Maybe we'll do a Christmas tree now, right? But yeah, so those are my closing thoughts. Just work with what you have. Also, yes, and what else? What else? Ask yourself, what else?